Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you for listening to Conservative Cool Talk Radio. This is your host, Wayne Bradley, and I want to thank everyone that's listening in this evening. We've got a busy night here to talk about a few things that are going on. Of course, the big thing going on is this health care bill and all the different, all the measures they're trying to do to actually put this bill through. I'm going to start off right now for everyone that's listening, for all the people on the grassroots, all the people wondering how they can make a difference. The first thing you need to do is go to, if you're online, go to www.house.gov and get your local representative, his phone number, his email, and contact him and continue to call them and keep those phones ringing. Also go to www.senate.gov, look for your local senators, and also continue to call. I'm going to give you the phone number. This is the toll-free number, 877-762-8762, or the D.C. number, 202-224-3121. Again, those numbers are for you to give a call to your representatives. Make sure they're voting no on this health care bill. Make sure they're not wavering. If you have a Democratic leader, and we do have a target list of the people that are wavering or undecided or voted yes previously, give them a call. The lines have been busy all day. In fact, there's been a lot of reports of the phone lines just being crashed at certain representatives' offices, and also possibly that they're taking phones off the hook. But the whole idea is keep letting them know. Keep the heat on your leaders and make them accountable. There are Democratic leaders that are sticking to their guns, like the Representative Jason Altmaier of Pennsylvania. He voted against the health care legislation last fall, and he's a pro-life Democrat, and he realizes there's a lot of anxiety about the bill, and he says he's not going to cast a vote that his constituents are not comfortable with. Those are the kind of leaders, whether they're Democrat or Republican, that if he's listening to his constituents and listening to the people that have voted him in, he's doing his job. So commend people that are actually doing what their constituents are doing. I believe that has played a big part in stalling this bill. Again, a lot of reps, a lot of congressmen do not want to lose their job over a bill that the president is telling them to mightily fall on their swords for. So, again, there's been a lot going on today. In D.C., the Tea Party rallies were on Capitol Hill today to oppose this health care bill. The rally was dubbed the Code Red Healthcare Rally, featured a host of Republican speakers, including Mike Pence, who I'm trying to get to come on this show to give us a check-in on exactly what's going on down there. Michelle Bachmann out of Minnesota, Tom Price out of Georgia, and Marsha Blackburn out of Tennessee. Like I said, the Tea Party has played a very large role in keeping these politicians honest, and I think all Americans owe the Tea Parties some sort of gratitude for actually doing it, because for a long time it's pretty much been the status quo. Most of us as citizens have just allowed these politicians to make laws and pass bills under our noses in the middle of the night, days before Christmas, those kind of things. And I think that, we owe them a certain amount of gratitude for actually keeping these politicians honest. I got my first call coming in already, so I'm going to take this call. Caller, you're on the air.
Hello?
Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. Who am I speaking with?
This is your last caller from last night.
All right. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
All right. And give me your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Christopher Lanham, and I'm calling from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. All right, Chris. And so what did you think today of all the hearing about the Tea Party rallies, and sound like we're actually the Tea Parties are making a difference out there? And like I said, the phone lines have been down, and people are continuing to try to call their representatives. I encourage you to do so.
That's crazy. I'm kind of outraged about this.
Okay.
I think that it's an assault and attack on our intelligence, on our way of life. I think that if they want to be politicians, they need to let us know what's going on and not secretly all get together and make decisions for us like we're 2 years old.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's the common arrogance in D.C. is that they know what we need better than we do. And that's what you're seeing right now, and that's why, encouraging people, everyone around you to call those numbers that I gave out, and also, like I said, emailing your reps, letting them know exactly how you feel is the best we can do right now, because they're negotiating, they're rounding third base right now, so it's up to us to stop it.
Do you think that they realize that our forefathers could have told you or I something and their word would have been gold?
Yeah, I think the current D.C. climate really does not pay attention to the forefathers. Unfortunately, they don't. They're not sticking to the Constitution, not following or adhering to it. So, unfortunately, I don't think a lot of the leaders out there are very concerned or are very knowledgeable about the forefathers.
What's your take on what they're doing to the CIA and our Navy SEALs?
Talking about actually like almost pressing charges against them and questioning them as if they've done something wrong?
Right, what they're trying to do, which I think is unconstitutional, which I believe that all this is unconstitutional, but that one in particular is unconstitutional because they're trying to make a case out of something that is not somebody who's actually a signer of the Geneva Convention act like they are.
Well, this is all political grandstanding. You have to understand. There's a very small chance of those guys, them actually trying to put them in jail. They're trying to make a political statement. They want to publicize the ways we've fought this war. Again, paint a bad picture with the past administration, and that's what that has to do with that, if you ask me.
Yeah. I think it's pretty sick and appalling that they. What the deal is a military tribunal. These are terrorists, okay, and they attacked us before, and they'll do it again. And the sick thing is that they want to try them like they would try you or I, which is reasonable doubt.
Well, and so Eric Holder actually compared it. He said that I was about to call him Osama bin Laden deserves the same rights as Charles Manson. That's who he compared it to, saying that, and that's just a fundamental disagreement that I would have with their administration, in particular Eric Holder, because he thinks that we ought to treat all terrorists with that same kind of respect. But again, it's just a total difference in the way they believe this country should be ran and the way we should treat people. So.
Right.
I hope that the American people, after we're done dealing with this health care, after we kill the bill, maybe we'll move on to that, and hopefully that won't be tried in New York City.
What do you think about a couple of Republicans trying to trade KSM for closing Gitmo and the possible deal that they're going to make behind closed doors with the health care?
Well, to be honest, because I'm not there, I don't know if that would be possible. But I don't think that they're going to wheel and deal for that trial, because I think that they're under enough pressure from the Democrats, actually in New York, that don't want that might be an issue. That I don't think that at some point, I don't really think the Republican Party is going to have to do too much to get that changed.
Right.
In fact, Rahm Emanuel didn't think it was a good idea, but Eric Holder did. So. His own chief of staff recognizes that's not a good move, and that's playing right into the hands of the people that from his standpoint, they realize that he's soft on on terrorists and that sort of thing. So
yes, one person in particular I keep my eye on is Lindsey Graham right now, because he's talking about making a deal for the KSM not coming here and having to put all those people in New York through that horrible trial that would go on there.
right.
And it's a big deal. And this guy, he's a terrorist. You know, he needs to be hung like Saddam Hussein, in my opinion. Okay, they need to go ahead and put him out of his misery, and that's how I feel.
Right. I hear that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you calling in. Like I said, that it's your voice, and I appreciate you, letting everyone know exactly how you feel and how you stand on these issues. You're not alone in that. Again, we just, like I said, we have to continue to be diligent and get in touch with our leaders and letting them know where we stand on that. So, Chris, I appreciate you for calling in tonight.
The last thing I would say is if people really want to make a difference on here, if they can't go to Washington themselves, they need to hit their local offices, district offices around their own towns and cities and make their voice heard and rally around that.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, I hope everyone's listening in. Again, I've given out the numbers to call your local leaders. 877-762-8762. That's the toll-free number. And the DC number is 202-224-3121. Thanks a lot, Chris, for calling in. I hope you continue listening to the show. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks again also for giving me the referral on Michael Johns, because he will be on here on March 31st.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot, and you have a good night. God bless you.
All right, you too, Brian.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, again, America is concerned about a lot of different issues, and I saw the news on last night, and I think the bigger issue here is that our administration is missing, and we're going to talk about this some more, is that our biggest concern in America right now is not health care, it's jobs. I would imagine if you poll most people, what's the bigger issue right now in their lives is a job. Most people will tell you, let me worry about health care after I get a job, after I'm making some money, after I'm sufficient, whether it be if you're self-employed, whether it be if you're getting a job somewhere. If you get a job, you usually have to wait 90 days to get insurance. So the point being is, let me worry about getting a job first. Then we can step up and talk about health care benefits. So I think the president and the current administration is missing the big picture on that. The real concern right now is jobs, and he's totally missing the boat on that. So hopefully, after this bill, which looks like it probably is 60-40 right now, I'm thinking they still have some kind of way to pass this, and that's something we're going to talk about right now is the slaughter rule, and basically it's called the self-executing rule, and basically they're able to pass bills without effectively making everyone vote and be accountable for it. And right now the Republicans are up in arms, which they should be, because this is how badly they want this bill to pass. That they're willing to do things that conventionally they don't do for such large bills. And before the president asked for an up or down vote in the House on the bill, and now they're trying to, like I said, pass it through the tactic being known as the self-executing rule. And under this tactic, the House can simultaneously approve the Senate version of the bill while voting on the package of changes. This would deem the Senate bill passed, though not directly show members voting in favor of the passage. Again, another way to get around trying to make this vote happen, but they don't want to be accountable for it. So a lot of people, again, want to keep their jobs. So this is another way of trying to push a bill past. And this is why, again, people have got to call in and have got to stay on their leaders about not being pressured by Pelosi and the Obama administration, that they should feel more pressure from their constituents, from the people that actually voted them in on this job. So the president has been threatening to not support people that don't support his bill. I mean, he won't show up for fundraisers and that sort of thing at election time, which again is more of the Chicago way of doing things, bullying people to get them to do what you want them to do. And they're playing Chicago politics in the White House. And I think that's very unfortunate. So again, people need to stay, they're being diligent about trying to pass this bill one way or the other. Whether the people want it or not, they are going to try to pass it. And so you have to stay to the course and get off the bench, people. I've made that statement before. We can all complain about how we want things to change, we want things to be different. It cannot be different without you calling, without you emailing your leaders in your area, your representatives and your senators, and letting them know how you feel. Again, that number is 877-762-8762. Rush Limbaugh has been credited today with having a lot to do with getting those phone lines pretty much jammed and frozen during a good part of the day, because he posted those phone numbers and that information on his website to all his listeners. So again, they'll listen to you. You just have to put in the effort. The whole idea again that the Tea Parties were in D.C. today, doing their best to prevent this bill from getting passed. And I want people to understand, when I say that I want to kill the bill, let's kill this bill. Not to say that we can't do some kind of health care package, but again, they don't want it. I want to see a bipartisan bill. I don't want to see one where just Democrats and exclusively Democrats have been able to craft this bill to the special interest groups and to the certain states and to the people they want to make this work for, as opposed to the American people. There is no question that there are certain things that need to be improved upon in the healthcare system, but there is no doubt that this is the best healthcare system in the world. So I want to hear from you, America. How do you feel about it? 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you. Again, you're the guest tonight on the show, and I want to hear how you feel about it. I want to hear what you think we should do. Should we kill the bill? Should the president allow more GOP input? Or should we just right now, we've got other things that are more pertinent than health care as far as jobs are concerned, and should we just kill the bill? I want to hear from you, and what do you think? Give me a call, 347-996-3175. I want to tell you about some of the things that are going on. Obviously, you need to check out the website, conservativeiscool.com. We're doing different shows, different nights of the week now. Mondays are my official Fix Michigan Mondays, where I'm focusing more on what we can do to improve the state that I live in, which is Michigan. Tuesday nights, we are doing the weekly news. And Wednesday nights, I'm starting to bring in more special guests of the evening, but we're also going to be looking at maybe doing some daytime shows or early morning shows to get people more involved and calling in earlier in the day. So I'm listening to all the suggestions from all my friends on Twitter, and I appreciate it. But I do want to hear from you tonight, 347-996-3175. I'm going to give you some of my featured guests later on in the show. Something else I wanted to touch upon today, and I think that we really need to focus on is the way that this current administration is dealing with the defense of Israel and how they're dealing with Israel. Now, I understand that Israel is not perfect in this scenario. Last week, when Joe Biden was in Israel, he was coming there to talk about negotiations and obviously protection and these sort of things. And while he was there, they announced plans for another 1,600 apartments in East Jerusalem while he was visiting. And in response, he issued a stern statement condemning the action. Israel apologized for the timing of the announcement, which again had caught Biden off guard. But since then, it's just gotten worse and worse with the condemnation and the actual criticism of Israel from this administration. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton personally phoned in the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to scold him. David Axelrod went to the Sunday shows to call Israel's actions an affront and an insult. And again, what I don't understand is that it doesn't serve anybody but the enemies. That's similar to what Joe Lieberman says. We need to be that diligent and that tough with Iran. I don't see where the administration has done that at all. I haven't heard those kind of words, that kind of criticism yet for Iran, yet they're building nuclear missiles and daring us to do anything about it. It amazes me that we could take such a strong stance to our only friends in the Middle East like that, and to again, they made a mistake. People, leadership and people like that do make mistakes, but the harsh criticism and, like I said, it makes people wonder as to what the policy are. They're trying to exploit something here because it's a diplomatic shift, and then again, Obama believes that to make the world more tranquil and peaceful, he needs to bow down essentially to some of the other Middle Eastern countries, and again put Israel in a very tough position. They're to the point where they're telling us they don't need us, and it's not that they don't want our help. It's just that they don't feel confident right now that the current administration is backing them, and that would be a major mistake on the part of this administration to not defend Israel. And I hope that pray, and I mean that I pray that this administration does not go that route and continue to support Israel. Now, of course, they're going to say they're going to support them, but the language was it was very strong. And again, we can't get that kind of action, or even those kind of statements out of when Iran, again, when they're building nuclear missiles and telling us, they're not going to do anything about it. So, again, thoughts are plenty. I'm glad you're listening in tonight. Glad you're following again. You're right. Obama's typically on the wrong side of many foreign issues. Iran being the strongest, North Korea, Venezuela. Again, it's just a difference in the belief system and the way he thinks this country should be ran and the way he feels that he can do it. So, again, I always encourage everyone, whether you like the president or not, pray for him to make the right decisions. And obviously, protecting Israel should be one of our number one causes in the Middle East, and definitely. Like I said, we owe that to the Israeli people. So I hope that the president and his administration do the right thing on that. And again, like Eric Cantor asked him to do, just to back down for a little while, and it just does not seem that they realize that. We have to recognize who our friends and our enemies are, and the president needs to realize we do have enemies out here, and we can't get too friendly with the enemy and, again, kind of offend who our friends are. So those are the issues that we're dealing with today. Again, I think it's very disappointing when we're not doing, at the very minimum, protecting Israel, making them feel like we're protecting them, that we're on their side. And these are the kind of results we're getting from a president that, again, from the very beginning has shown that he doesn't take terrorists seriously, and protection of America. He doesn't take the protection of America seriously, so I guess it shouldn't be too much of a surprise that he's not taking the protection of Israel serious enough. So give me a call. I want to hear your thoughts on that. 347-996-3175. Go to the chat room, go to my messages here. Oh, no problem, Christopher. That's okay. Glad you called in and listened tonight. I'm reading your Facebook messages here. No problem. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for the support. Again, thanks for setting up the interview on the 31st with Michael John. So I appreciate that. I'm going to create a poll. I'm going to put a poll on the website tomorrow on conservativescool.com. I want to know how people feel about what do you think the next move should be in the health care bill debate. Should we just scrap it, kill the bill, worry about health care later and focus on jobs? Or do we need to let these politicians hash this out? And again, I think that would caused a large uproar amongst a lot of people because you have a lot of Democrats, again, that won't vote for this. It has a lot of abortion issues that still have not been resolved. There's still some immigration issues that have not been resolved. So I think, again, you would almost forget that the president has a majority in the House and the Senate, and they still can't get the bill through. So it really tells you about the problems that they're having constructing a bill that even all the Democrats can agree on. So I want to hear from you. I got a few more minutes on the air tonight. Again, I was doing this show was more to, again, spread the message, what you can do to get involved. And again, I'm going to give that number out. It's 877-762-8762. That's the toll-free number, and keep calling. And the local D.C. number is 202-224-3121. Again, that's 202-224-3121. Again, if the lines are busy, keep calling back. That's the whole point. We want to keep them busy. We want people to understand that that this is not going to work and that the people are not happy with it and they're not satisfied. And don't give up is the message that I would tell you. Something else I'm going to touch upon just for a short moment, and if Mark, if you're listening out there at the Carroll Tea Party, you're more than welcome to call in and talk about this a little bit more. And on March 31st, I'll be having Michael Johns come on the show at 9 p.m., and he is one of the several national leaders of the U.S. Tea Party movement. He's one of the founders. And I think that right now there has been a lot of back and forth on what's going on with the Tea Parties. I think from the ground level, grassroots organizations, they have been excellent, and they have been truly what the American people have needed to wake people up and to get people more involved again. You have a lot of people getting involved in politics and getting involved at the grassroots level that didn't do it before, and I think that's excellent. I've met some great people through the Tea Parties, and I think, again, these are just normal people like myself. Everyone is just fed up with the status quo of our politicians, whether it be locally or obviously on a national level in D.C. And conservative people, conservatives, libertarians alike. Again, you just have a lot of people that are, and I would imagine even some liberals that are just not happy with the way their government does not listen to them. Has more of an arrogance. They feel that they know what's best for us, and that's kind of like what you're seeing right now in D.C. But what I was going to speak on in particular with the Tea Party movements, there are a lot of different factions out there, and politically now it's become a game of who can get these different Tea Parties to support them, and obviously get the email list and the money and everything else that comes along with the support of these Tea Party organizations. And if you're running a Tea Party in your area, I'm sure you probably have local politicians calling you and things of that nature at this point. Keep them honest. Don't fall for the trappings of just the political power that it might institute in your local areas. Stay diligent and make those people accountable to you and your organization. There's some imposters out here right now. You have people posing to be Tea Party members and Tea Party leaders only to cause confusion and dismay amongst people, and to sometimes whether it be pose a negative light on the Tea Party movement itself, or simply a way of you're finding out now that Democrats and a lot of liberals are using them as plants to try to split the GOP vote, obviously with the independence of Tea Party movement. So as the Tea Party has gotten more prominent and more power, you have people chipping away at at the very existence of what they're trying to do. And so please be careful with that. Please do your research on the organizations that you are joining or the organizations you are working with, making sure that they are, again, working for the rights of the people and sticking to the Constitution, and not some some organization again that is not doing it for the right intentions, whether it be for political or financial gain, or again something totally opposite of that, which could be political gain by splitting the conservatives and the GOP. So I hope that when I have Michael Johns on the show on the 31st, we can talk in depth about that. I spoke earlier today with Mark DeCarroll Tea Party in Michigan, and he explained to me a lot about how people are trying to use the Tea Parties and dirty the name. And again, I've been approached by people to work with different Tea Party functions and radio shows. And again, I'm telling you from my own experiences that there are people out there that are possibly willing to dirty the name of the Tea Party for whatever their personal gain or whatever acts they may have to grind, or strictly for political reasons. Again, in Florida right now, they are the Tea Party is an official Tea Party political party. So you're talking again at that point. Now you're talking about budgets and getting your hands on spending money. So people really need to be careful with that. Like I said today, there's no doubt the Tea Parties in D.C. Making a difference, and when you're getting some of the leaders like Mike Pence, like Michelle Bachmann, to join in with these, it adds to the authenticity, but it also shows that they're in tune for what the people really want. And I really look forward to hopefully soon having Mike Pence come on the show and tell us exactly what's going on, tell us exactly what Pelosi and them are up to. Again, next week I believe I'll have John Dennis. Next Wednesday on the 24th, I'll have John Dennis on the show, who will be going against, hopefully against Nancy Pelosi in 2010. So he needs our support, and I definitely want to bring more acknowledgement to his campaign, and again do what we can, because these, again, no matter what state you're in, it shows that your leader in California definitely can affect what's going on in Michigan, and I think that's important, again, that we, throughout the country, people unite, whether it be through the Tea Parties, whether it be through grassroots organizations like Americans for Prosperity. You need to really stay diligent and work with people on the local levels to make sure that we're being represented at every turn. So, again, I think we owe a lot of gratitude. If it wasn't for the Tea Party movement right now, I think this bill might have got passed through a long time ago. The Republicans have fought it from a political standpoint, but I somehow believe that if the independents and the Tea Party people had not been keeping all the politicians honest, they might have sold that vote out a long time ago to move on to something else that they deemed more important to their agenda. So, but again, a lot of our true conservatives and small government leaders who believe in that are doing their best to make sure that doesn't happen. So I want to hear from you. It's been kind of quiet here tonight. 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you. If I don't hear from you soon, I'm going to be getting off the air soon. Let's see here. All right, yep, I just got a call in from. I'm going to be leaving off the air soon. I wanted to hear from you. I'm going to be putting out a poll tomorrow night, regarding the health care bill. And again, I want to give you those numbers and the website. Again, tonight's show is more informative based on information we've learned so far. We cannot let them pass this bill under the tactic known as self-executing rules, the slaughter rule, essentially. We can, and again, call your local reps, go to the website, www.house.gov, find your local leaders, email them, call them, toll-free number, 877-762-8762, and the local D.C. number is 202-224-3121. So I look forward to hearing from people about their experiences and what they're doing to make a difference, because we all have a a responsibility. If you're sitting at home right now listening and saying, you know what, I should call one of my leaders, or I should email them, you're not doing enough. You got to do it. You got to follow through and stay diligent. So I got 5 more minutes on the show here tonight. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you if you have anything else to say about the issues we've talked about today. Recapping that, we've talked about the administration's stance, the tough stance, I'll say, towards Israel, which is pretty amazing considering we haven't had a tough stance with any of our enemies or any of these terrorist states, but we do end up taking a tough stance against our friend and ally in Israel. So that doesn't make much sense to me. What do you think about it, America? Give me a call. We've sat and obviously talked a lot about the health care debate, giving you all the numbers and information you need to equip you to make a difference in your area. So I think you definitely want to do that. We've talked about the tactics that they're trying to pull through on this health care bill. And the thing I want people to think about is, why are they trying so hard to do that? Why are they trying to force a bill through without even voting on it in the way they normally would? So those are the things to think about. As we move forward, I'm going to give you a little bit more of the shows that I got going on the next couple weeks. Like I said, next week I'll have John Dennis on. Starting on Monday with Fix Michigan Mondays, I have Paul Welday coming on. He's running for Congress here in Michigan. On Tuesday, I'll have Randy Pullen on the show, who is the chairman of the Arizona GOP. So we'll have him on. We'll be discussing Arizona politics and the races coming up, the whole political scene in Arizona. On Wednesday, we will have John Dennis on, who again is running for Congress in Nancy Pelosi's district. So next week we'll have a nice week of shows and nice guests coming on every day of the week. The following Monday, for my Fix Michigan Monday, we're going to have the Michigan Senate Majority Leader Mike Bishop on the show. On Tuesday, looks like I will probably be broadcasting live from an event in Michigan. Rick Snyder is going to be doing something with the Michigan Republican and Hispanic Association, so I might be live at that broadcast. Rick Snyder's running for governor here in Michigan. And on the 31st, I will have Michael Johns on the show. We'll be talking about the Tea Party. We're going to talk. If you don't know Michael Johns, I suggest you do some research. He's one of the top conservatives on Twitter, and he's a founder of the Tea Party. He worked in the Reagan administration. Do your research on this man. I'm taking the time myself to really, like I said, to do the research and bring these people on, but there's going to be some great guests in the following weeks ahead. So I appreciate everybody that's listening in. I'd like to get more calls, so like I said, I'm going to be going to a format during the day, maybe earlier in the day, to get more people involved in the call. So I do appreciate you listening in, because I know after the show, every time I go on Twitter, people told me they were listening in on the show. And I'm going to answer this question from Thoughts of Plenty. Is HCR out about control and tail of its citizenry? I think it's more just of a belief system that they think that the American people, this is what they want, and regardless of what we tell them, they know what's best. That's the arrogance that I see out of D.C. So I don't know if it's that sinister of it, or if it's just the fact they honestly believe that this is the best thing for America. If they really believe that, though, I really believe that they would have included the single payer system, where everyone would have had a chance, the public option, and then they threw that out the window almost immediately. So it kind of let me know right then there were no principles to this deal, that they were just trying to pass a deal. And I've said that for, a couple months now. And, if they really believed in what they were doing, the public option would have been part of it. There's just too many secrets, too many things that are going on with this bill that people don't know what's going on. We don't know still including abortion in it. And again, you got to thank people like Stupak and his crew, like you said, Thoughts of Plenty, that are holding on for with principles, because we just don't seem to have too many politicians right now that have those principles. So again, it's up to us as the people to follow up, and if they don't want to step up and have the principles, then we need to find the leaders that will. So with that being said, I think that we just, again, continue to follow up with your leaders, and don't let this fall to the wayside. All right, well, I'm going to be getting off the air soon here. Last time requesting calls here, 347-996-3175. If you got any opinions on the defense of Israel, I think that's besides the health care bill, I think that's something that has really bothered me about this administration, is their lack of commitment towards Israel, but also almost not standing hand in hand with willing to be tough on Israel but not do that to our enemies, and it just doesn't make sense. So I truly hope that the administration figures that out and gets on the right path. All right, well, this is the end of the show here. I'm going off the air a few minutes early tonight. I want to give everybody that number one more time. That's 877-762-8762, and the local number is 202-224-3121. Blow up those phones. I want to say a special thank you for Saul Nuzis for coming on last night for the Fix Michigan Monday show. And thank everybody that was listening in, because I saw we had a nice amount of listeners for that show. And continue to spread the word with the show. Every time you hear it, you can always download it, email it, and share it with others. And that's how we spread the word on this show. Like I said, I don't have advertising or anything like that, so word of mouth and through Twitter is the way we continue to spread the word. So thank you for listening tonight. I'm going off the air. Please visit the website, conservativescool.com. Tomorrow I'll have a couple new polls and possibly a blog regarding the Israel issue. So thank everyone for listening in. Thank you, and God bless you. Have a good evening.